Hello everybody! Welcome back to some Bioshock. No matter we did get done with the game, but I am just gonna check out like the added content like they put on it, like the DLC stuff on it. But I saw like the first thing I'm gonna try out is the museum. I don't know, this is like a show, it's like a video, or it's just like walking around like actually like a real museum. But it said museum, so let's see what this actually is. And here we go. Welcome to the Museum of all about just the contents of the Gallery of the Tortoise Ideas by Introvert Games and this card of rework heavy doing making from the original Bioshock. Wait, hold on. Oh, it's the same stuff. Okay. There's no music. Oh, it's like a real museum. Oh, okay. Um, exhibit the gatherers. It may be hard to imagine that this Grayson, whose job it has been creating Adam for co-ops around Rapture, was the earliest lecturers of the idea behind the Little Sisters. Since the gatherers gathered a separately known sympathetic for players, the team experimented with the complex of featuring a number of animals including the famous dog in a wheelchair and later a grotesqueous mentored humanoid family, a complete stretch from a deforming child and post and Kinka moment responsible for the Little Sisters. Sorry for what I always say though, but I can't read that great. First content art. Um, and good artists try to improve how an underwater sea would actually approach in this early content work of Rapture. One idea imagines a thick forest for the public of oxygen to change since there will be up to this catwalks running around the edges. The concept of using trees for oxygen and Chris made it into a final game and the Akio level. Okay, let's wait to finish. What kind of big daddies are these? The show performs the name of the prototype Big Daddy followers who manual players will be both hooked and fired on bearing of the barrier stood by slow projected fucked up melee. He survived long enough to become a fully beautiful owl, but team the team brothers cut him to Poland's and another Big Daddy types. This model later um, appeared in Bioshock 2 as the Rumbler throwing matches turrets and stars of the cannonball. This is from Bioshock 2. I guess. I think this is from Bioshock 2, that's what I was saying. The early bouncer. This original model of the bouncer type of Big Daddy featured the flat head drill that's the end of each arm. The Big Daddies, which informs as the builder of Rapture, with weapons modified for tools. They would have used it in construction with the gatherers that we emerged as little sisters. One of the bouncer throws as chains to glued hand, a glued hand, so the two characters should interact with each other. Oh, we can actually get back here. Just get a better look at these three. The hell? Oh, the gatherers. It'd be hard to imagine this is the creation whose job it is to claim atom for crops around Rapture. Once the earliest intended of the idea behind the Little Sisters, since the gatherers gathered it shows no some pilots for players, the team. I think I already read this one actually. Yeah, I already read this one. Some like yeah, I read it like right when I walk in here. I have no idea how. What's this? Audio, the audio slicer content art, moving for a human was a slow process. While alien content solved the melee enemies grew muscular arms, the team has trouble convinced how someone who has sliced to become a marksman who appeared. This is Delta. The audio Big Daddy concept. Oh, it's Rosie. There are the earlier content for the Rosie type of the Big Daddy who likes the bouncer was informed as a construction worker who has been reproposed as a protector of the gatherers. It's much the same thing, it's just colored. Okay. Same thing, but it's colored. Sidley. The first slicer that input integration for Bioshock was used in the earlier combat demos and was fully purchased in game with the it took us to that long to realize he wasn't a good model. Say lead artist Sean Robinson. This is probably the worst thirst of anyone has ever made. Okay. Now we're going to Resident Evil 6 now. We're going to Resident Evil 6 now. The earlier cycle contents. There are some of the first combat stretches to the Bioshock enemies moving on more like human-like different outage people that approaches with the idea that item deform the body in a way that relates to an internet fiction. For instance, a giant ghost grotescal arm on the melee attack. Audio slicer. Okay, there is some of the first control steps for the Bioshock Henry. It's the stuff mostly. to the other hand, before summoning the forces around Adam, with the idea from being ingesting substances there, here you can see use playing ball around with Adam being mechanically injected, say lead artists onto the slice of that fails of his belt. This model was created but never made it into the game in any form. So here, the fuck? Grenade slicer. The great elephant slicer was the only grenade from the same period of the Bonders as Stretchy. And the giant grenades and throws them at you say lead. Okay, leads on the model was built in texture but never animated. Or it's now been animated. So there was close to it, but it's now been animated. Like, the locations dispatched here was a building of the prison demo of Bioshock, a small level deposits several that the key elements of a game such as the Big Daddies and Gatherers. This area appears in about Neptune's bounty level of Bioshock, with the bodies flown in the ocean will cut late environments. There will be casting shadows and previewing to distract from the action in the room. Okay. What's this? A hooker. Created around the same time as Stretchy and the Grenadier, the slicer that domed the hooker, become of whole weapons and tools. This combat evolved into a spider slicer when it was indicated that slicers models could find in the behavior rolled by the hooker model later become a baby lane slicer. It was the original before they changed it to the spider slicers. Okay. Actually learning pretty good stuff actually. This is actually this small. Let's see. Big Daddy. This is the earlier concert of a Big Daddy pursuing through a wall where the pits of the audio long in a Big Daddy training ground area about the road to Big Daddy. The player comes with him at the end of the level. This is a complete switch, departing what you later become Tumbleweed Bay, in which house a important scene for Atlas. Oh, okay, this is the same when we saw Atlas and her wife was in there, and the other, so far so good. Mist Link model. This schedule is inspired by the mist link between the Ghost's earlier design of the human slicers that appears in Bioshock. This is the last bad model we did before moving on to what actually went into the simping game. Say Lean Artisan, after playing with him for a while, we just said, why don't we use humans instead? I always thought of this as Scooby-Doo monsters because they were too inhuman and invoke. Fleet Hall. The earlier concept of the standard Corn Hands Fleet Hall was created after level building had begun, when the designers found they were having difficulties constructing the theater space. It was one of the earliest spaces built in Bioshock, and many of the accents used in the museum come from that area. Oh, it takes so much space. Okay. Hmm. This was the first this was the first elements that really capture up the better elements that made Bioshock. A large view of the ocean and most light scenes from the Average Art Decade design elements. Without the amendments, Bioshock would have been a rather different beast. Yawn Hand model. This model is called the Yawn Hand Wound. Interactive Games was the poster child of the competitive pose that requires that the strength to go with a human enemies. I point out that the drawing behind the models say lean artisan Robinson. You can see the top one got built, but the other two informs the design as well. As we taming more toward human monsters, the Scooby monsters get goofier and less scary. Yeah. Yeah. Oleo cat. This was some of the earlier pages done for the Bioshock. From the back of Angelus was still working on Squad 4. The only concepts out there that at that point were the Honor Sea City and Bioshock Elemental, so earlier concepts focused on those themes. It's mostly the same stuff. Dang, man. Dang. This is actually it. Oh wait, hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you please leave a like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll probably be doing the other stuff too, like the add a bit of content and all that other stuff. Hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a like and subscribe. We will start Bioshock 2 really soon. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.